He's waiting for. Good afternoon and welcome to this pregame show on IslandStats.com. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Joining me is co-host Maceo Dill and Garrett Punchy Dill, as you see him making his way into the camera shot. We're here to talk about Bermuda, Guiana, French Guiana, that is, who will be playing in this first Nations League game. Well, first, Maceo, let's talk a little bit about this layoff that Bermuda's had and what one would expect later on this afternoon at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, that's got to be concerning, right? It's got to be concerning as to what physical condition that the players are in right now, being that our domestic league has just started, and also even observing what is happening with the international players. Like, where are they at in their physical conditioning? And I don't think actually, playing the game at 5 o'clock actually suits us right now. I mean, I think that's an advantage that's probably to French Guiana, to be able to deal with this heat. But we shall see, right? Yeah. But I think the layoff is definitely something that we should be concerned about, and that should factor into the tactics and the team selection.
Well, the other thing, Punchy, new coaching staff. Me personally, I think they took way too long to bring someone in, if whomever was going to be, to get started, knowing that these games were coming up. Your thoughts on that period where there was inactivity?
Yeah, that seems to be a problem. That's been a problem for a while. The time when we do play one international match, and then the next time it's a couple of months later. We also hitting on the point about the selection of the national team. Actually, there's a lot of people thinking about what's really going on here. But when it was finally done, we are who we are. I've been up watch a few sessions here because the gates were locked. But I've been watching a few sessions, stealing some books through the gates, and and what Maceo was saying is watching them put through the physical condition, and he was really putting, those guys were putting the work in. Again, getting back to your point about the appointment and this long layoff that we always seem to have. Hopefully, it changes in the direction that we're going in. Hopefully that even after this tournament we continue on, and I think that's what Finlay has mentioned.
One of the things that obviously when he was appointed, we talked about time and what he would have to do to hit the ground running, picking a squad, getting that squad to gel. We see a lot of new faces and young faces in this particular team. Maceo, is this the time to throw youngsters in, or should we have continued and bring in? Because we did actually have a bunch of youngsters come into the last team that we saw Kyle Lightborn pick.
Well, that is the time. But what's confusion about the selection? I would have thought that there would be a continuation of the under 23 team that represents us at the Island Games. So this selection, while I'm excited about it, I have to say I'm excited about youngsters and getting a chance to look at it and see what they are. It seems like the selection looks like a different direction from what was the U23 team. For whatever reasons, the selection's going in a different direction. And with the selection, and I would learn the coaching side of it. Obviously this coach who is foreign to Bermuda, he's not going to know the players, so it's heavily reliant on his two assistants, Kenny and John Barrett. So there had to be some type of debate as to where we're going with it. Now, knowing the players, this looks like a Kenny team to me. I have to say, This looks like a Kenny Thompson team selection team, because John Barrett would have actually had that under 23 team that he worked with, and he knew where some of the players were. We don't. I think we have 3 or 4 players from that under 23 team that's part of this here. You do have to. It's tricky because you do have to have some stability and some senior players in there. So I can't criticize that there are senior players in and Reggie Lamb there, or Dante Lavrock there, or Zico Lewis there. So it has to be some type of stability in senior players that are there. So that's going to be interesting for me as to where this balance is. And again, from the coaching point of it, it's not easy to, within a week and a half, with obviously the three different coaches are not going to be on the same page yet. Let's just be honest about that.
Mhm.
And they can't be on the same page because, like I said, if we went back, we would have liked to see these guys in place maybe 2 months ago or 3 months ago, and everybody watching the under 23 Ireland games. That would have been the opportunity that we got our coaching staff in place, and everybody watches the Ireland games, and everybody knows where we are. So they're not going to be able, the coaching staff, to be fair to them, they're not going to be able to be on the same page just yet.
Right.
So we're going to see how quickly they can adapt, and what that first selection looks like for the first 11, and what are the tactics that they're going to put out there to be able to deal with it.
Sure. Well, we're being joined by Coach Kita, but I want to answer a question that's being asked right now. Can anyone, is anyone able to say whether the new coach selected his two assistant coaches or were they appointed by the BFA? In the press conference, he said that he appointed both of them, knowing who they were. He knew Kenny from some time ago, and he also knew John Barry. So
it's impossible. That's impossible that he can select the best person for the job, without being in Bermuda long enough to know who's available.
Right.
So it's impossible. So from that can happen. That's a very good question, because you would have won if a head coach comes in, and that's a conversation that I've had a lot. If a head coach comes in, I think it's better that he gets the autonomy to select who he wants to work with. And even if that might not be Bermudian, but that might be possible as well because of the financial piece of it. So we have to decide: are we going to get the best out of this situation? We're seeing this before, so we're seeing appoint the head coach, and he comes and he gives us 3 years. He gives us 3 years, and he makes certain movements, and then we're gonna make the next jump. And if it gets a little icky politically, it gets a little sticky, then he goes, and then we're back to the square one. And the problem with that is that we're spent hundreds of $1,000s with it. If and I make no secret, I've been on your show. If it was me to appoint the coach staff, like Goda would have been the one for me. Would have been.
Yeah.
Well, I would have entered, but we're here now.
Right.
So it's impossible for him to have been selecting of his staff. That's impossible that he would know enough about Bermuda to select the staff.
Well, he did say that he knew these guys and he was comfortable with them. That's the reason why.
That sounds like the Bermudian Friends, a family program.
Well, he said it. It came out of his mouth. That's all I can say. That's all I can say.
If it's doing that, if it's not surveying the whole field
right
of
right.
the people that are in Bermuda, it could be something very different.
Right.
It could be, he could look at something very different. I would actually like to see, I agree with the concept of people learning under, but I would have liked to see 4 maybe coaches, Bermudian coaches in this capacity, working in this capacity, and bringing different ideas into
right.
into the field.
Right. Coach Kita, welcome.
Thank you very much.
It's been a long day. Welcome back to school. Just turn the camera just a little bit. Actually, too much. A little more. So before you in the shot. Okay, that's fine. Thanks. Well, Coach, we're here. We're at the international break for the men. We're at this game, French Guiana and Bermuda. Both teams are at the grounds now. What's your thoughts on, because we talked about it amongst ourselves, the layover or the layoff of the team been inactive? New coach just a month, maybe a month. I'll give it a month. What's your thoughts on that whole process?
Ideally, I believe these teams are going to have a training camp during the summer. That was the plans. gone through the interview process. I don't know what held that up. I don't know if the interview process for the new coach held that up, but ideally, they would have wanted to go through a training camp process, so to speak. I think the Island Games served somewhat of that purpose. The Island Games would have served as some way to look in. Unfortunately, that coach wasn't a part of that staff. Um, but it's almost a little bit of a rush now because the CONCACAF, the window is here. So I think that with the time that the coaches had with the team, um, I think we can expect the best that we can get out of this. I'm excited about the team. I'm excited about the young prospects that have now, are going to be leading this team. If you look at the numbers of the young players in this New York team, it's very exciting, and I can't wait for this match tonight. But in his defense, the summer camp, I think would have served a great purpose for the coach to get to know the players. I mean, he unless he's done a lot of scouting or this week here where he's had them every day, that may still not be enough to see the things that he needs to see. But the quality amongst this young group, I know he'll be excited. And we have to look at it as a process, right? We have to look at it. Obviously, we look at it as we want immediate results. But again, we have to look at it as a process, along with everything else.
Yeah, yeah. I'll get back to the question. There's another question, but I'll get back to it. But Punchy, French Guiana, when I looked at the list of players they had, the average age was about 30. An experienced team. What's your thoughts on them and their last few records?
Well, I did some research and I was looking back on some of the results. There was a result that I was really it caught my attention against El Salvador. They were 4-0 against El Salvador, right? And I do believe one other game they drew with St. Kitts.
Yes.
There was okay. So when I started thinking about those results, I'm like, okay, well, where are we? How do we fit in that? What would be us against El Salvador in terms of our level? And I think what it is that they come from the tip of South America. So you would expect when I saw those results, I was like, I would have thought Ron Suriname, the type of football they play, I would expect a better result. So in my mind, I was thinking, well, okay, we haven't done research on them. We haven't, So I think with those results, we look. I thought we would stand a chance tonight. We would stand a chance. I haven't, like I said, their results against El Salvador was really something for us to think about. And then all the other ones they played, the kids, but they were draws.
Right.
So there's going to be, it depends on what we do tonight, and I'm hoping that the public be a little patient with what's going on, a little bit patient. I'm hoping that it'll be a little bit patient.
Well, during the press conference again, I said to him, I said, Bermudians are very finicky and they like to win. They don't like to lose. And he did say it's going to take some time.
Yeah, I think so, Earl. It will take some time.
And that's for anybody.
Yeah, for anyone. We would have liked to have seen the same group or this maybe have a practice match somewhere that we can obviously whether it was away or put someone in. We would have liked to have seen that before this place but that was totally impossible. So again, it's kind of I feel really excited about it.
Yeah.
I feel excited about it.
Coach Keenan?
Yeah, I mean, I was away with some of the names that's in this group. They're not names that are new. They're names that have been brought up before, and the excitement. I didn't, because of how the games were in Guernsey, I could only get to a couple because we played after the men, so I had to prepare my team. But the Jai Beans and the Jai Talk, I mean, yes, Bermuda's going to have expectations, but I definitely want to have patience because this is a special group. This is a special group that Coach gets to work with. And I think that, actually, I know that tonight's game is going to be one of a lot of excitement. We're moved away from the era of the one marquee player, and thank you, Nikki, for everything that he's done for the country. But if you think about the past matches, it's been focus has been centered around Nikki. If Nikki doesn't have a good game, you know what I mean? When we don't go, Nikki's had a good game. Nikki scored the goal. I think you have a select group of players that's really going to entertain. I'm a little disappointed, and for obvious reasons, the time change. But I still hope that the public get here in a few minutes so that they can read this. What I think is going to be a very refreshing match for
Yeah.
people.
Well, being that you brought it up, the light poles are up. They're back up. They actually had the lights on last night. But the reason why they couldn't change the game back to 7 is that the lights have not been set yet to make sure that there's no shadows on the field. So that process will take a few days, maybe a week or so, and then your game.
Love that. Love that.
22nd of September.
Love that.
Pressure's on you. But another question: has the new coach been given a mandate to assist in the development of the women's program, or is he to focus solely on the senior men's team? That'll be a question we can ask when we're going to be joined by Mark Wade, the president of the Bermuda Football Association. So we'll put that question to him there when he does join us. We're also going to be joined by the former head coach, Kyle Lightbourne, momentarily. I saw him lingering around a little while ago, so he'll be back shortly. But Maceo, looking at this young Bermuda team, the mixture of young Bermuda players, we ended up having a chat with a few of them when they came over here when they arrived. How excited do you think they are to be in a position to play at home in one of the first senior turnouts?
They would have a bit of nervousness about it. Right? You could be in England in the best conditions, but you put yourself up against your friends and your family, and the expectation is there. So they're going to have a bit of nervousness about it, which is normal. But and that nervousness is excitement as well. And I think they culturally get the expectation. They culturally get the expectation of what comes from Bermuda. And just to piggyback to that question, we already know that the fans are not going to have patience, so we have to deal with that. The fans are just not going to have patience. That in football worldwide, the fans don't have patience. So we have to work with that to know that they're not going to have patience with the process. But we in the media, we in the coaching and stuff like that, it's us that has to have the patience with what this process looks like. What's going to be interesting in these youngsters is to what the first 11 selection looks like. Has that been released just yet?
I was looking on the CONCACAF website, and it's not.
That's going to be the interesting thing of what that first selection looks like.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to determine where we're going. Are we releasing these youngsters? Are we holding these youngsters back? What are we doing with the youngsters, and how are we setting up with them?
Yeah.
If it's me, I'm releasing them.
Right.
I'm releasing them on the field, and seeing what they could put out there. Because also you have to understand the dynamics of the youngsters, and you have to accept it. They don't have the patience.
Right.
They don't have the patience. They want to know and great now.
Yeah, they want to be on the field.
And I don't think psychologically, emotionally, or experience-wise that they're built with patience like that. Youngsters are not built with that. They feel that they're capable. They want to know. So that is going to see how much of these youngsters are being released today in front of a home crowd.
Sure. Well, Punchy, it must be exciting for you as your grandson's in this team, and opportunities to see him play. In front of his home crowd, in front of his family, and so forth. How do you take that, and have you had words with him about just being selected into the squad?
Oh yeah. Even when he first came back, this is last Sunday. He's been very excited. He's been excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I when I speak with him, it's always about professionalism, professional away mentality that he has. And he says, "Look, Pop, I come back here to work. I come up to work hard. I'm so glad I got selected. I can help the team." Similar what he said in the papers, what we spoke about. But he's he's very excited, and of course the play on his family, the Janices, the Deals, and are all going to be here to the bowl ticket. So he's really looking forward to this, and I'm excited for also Jai Bean. We're wondering who will play that role that the Key Rouse is not here. So,
Right.
I watched some of the games that he played in the when he was away. He was pretty good. It wasn't bad, but this is a whole different game tonight, and it's going to be. Don't forget, we'll also look for a result.
Yes.
We'll look for a result. So it is going to be a pressure, but I just feel that my grandson feels very honored to be back here to play for the country.
Sure. Well, I keep looking behind me because I see former coach Kyle Lightbourne there. We're going to get him to come in and talk a little bit. Mr. Lightbourne, you're welcome to join. Yeah.
Oh, there you
How you doing? Hey, they had me outside with like 10.
Well, what do you want? So we're just waiting for you to sit down. They trapped you outside? Well, first of all, Mr. Lightbourne, welcome to this pregame show. Usually you're in the change room. You can't get to us until after the game, but now we get you before the game. Your time, going through the national program, you helped to advance Bermuda football in many ways. What did you think when you were relieved of your duties you left behind that helped shape Bermuda?
First and foremost, afternoon audience. I think I left the place in a better state, even though we may have not been getting the results at that present time. But we're going through a little bit of a transition as far as new players coming in and older players going out. I think COVID had a big thing to do with availability of players, the ones that were vaccinated and unvaccinated, all of that. So it's sort of for us as a small nation, it sort of slowed us down a little bit. When I look back at the Canada game in the World Cup qualifiers, they were able to get their full team, and we were probably able to get our C team. So that's the difference in the quality of opposition and what they're prepared to do to get their best players. And we had an opportunity to blood a few youngsters along the way. So I think we'll be in good stead once we get a settled team and be able to push it.
Anyone got anything for Kyle?
Well, first, welcome to the platform. You can sit here and we can say what we want now. we can say what we want. The Francis whole responsibilities off. Just tell us a bit about French Guiana. What we should be expecting that you're going to bring to us, and how we should potentially set up to be able to deal with a team like this.
So, first of all, I think French Guiana is like similar to us in the state that in the way that they get surprising results and then they get surprising results in the other way. I looked at the last result, they lost 4-0 to Guatemala, and then 2 games before that they beat Guatemala 2-0, and then they struggled against Belize and different things like that. So that's probably down to the players that are available as well.
That home and away thing.
That home and away situation. It's about who's available for them, who can travel, who can get here. It's a long journey.
Yeah.
French Guiana, as we witnessed before, when we played them, we were 1-0 up. The game got rained out, and going back with a total different team. So these things happen, but Nations League, hopefully, it's making all the teams improve. That's what I've noticed around the region. Other countries are able to pick players that are at the professional level or at semi-professional level. So you look at Montserrat, that's the ideal team to look at. Their team is based on all semi-professional, professional players that play at a higher standard than our Bermuda players. So they're going from having no professionals to having all professionals. that's the difference. That's the quality and standard that we have to be up against in a team like Montserrat. So there's no difference for French Guiana, who they would have a lot of players that possibly were on France's radar at some point. And then for whatever reason their careers go different ways, and this is where they end up playing.
Sure. Punchy?
Yeah. Hey, Kyle. Glad to have you here, man. Glad to have you here. Listen, the question I want to ask about selection. Is there any persons that you thought should have been included in this score? There's a piece in the paper about the PHC center that should have, they everyone thinks that he should have been in this team. What are your thoughts about people that who the selection who haven't made it? If you thought maybe should have been had a chance here.
I think probably behind the scenes his name was probably selected, but for whatever reason he's probably just not available for this part. You know, that's something that I haven't spoken to the player. I haven't, I don't know the ins and outs, but I know a lot of that goes on. Players that you want to touch, for some reason, it just doesn't work out at that stage. And I'm probably sure there's other players that they wanted that they couldn't get their hands on at this present time. I mean, Zaylon Shanahan for PHC, who's experienced at international level, he would definitely help us out. And then you also have Jalen Harvey, who may be missing, and
welcome to the
that's another
National
experience
Sports
defender
Center
that we
for the
can call upon.
2023-2024
But it's an opportunity for someone else.
In this afternoon's game, Bermuda will take
Well,
on French.
Looking at it, what do you think is going through, or what would the coaches be going through right now, as we're some 42 minutes away from the start of the game?
Right now, the coaches, I know what I normally do. I look at the team and try to figure out who's going to play where for your opposition, special team. Probably we haven't played a lot.
Qatar Airlines
You could only go off of the last match that they played. With a 4-0 defeat.
Yeah.
See what players are playing that played in that match. Because that's the only game I would be looking to scout from, or a couple games that you would look to scout from and look for the danger players and see who's playing and who's not playing in those positions. And you would already going over how you want to play. You just look and see who's playing.
Also, ladies and gentlemen, for the latest official news.
With all that, and thanks for the education on that. Is there an expectation that we should come out of this game with a result? And if so, how do we need to set up tactically to be able to secure that result against a team such as French Guiana?
I think for us as Bermuda, we always expect to be no matter who we're playing against. That's a good thing because we're competitive. We want to win. We feel that we should be winning. I think the coaches will be going into expecting a good performance from the team. Can they get a good performance from the team? There's probably new ideas that they try to put in place. Can we see that come out in the game? Obviously, they may play it cagey. His first game, you just never know. I don't know the mindset of the new coach. So we just have to wait and see. I think they picked a strong team. Got a good balance in there when you look down throughout. There's always one or two players you say we should have this player, that player, but it's all down to availability.
Let me just jump on one more before. And preparations. I mean, that's always been my pet peeve, giving the coaches a proper opportunity to prepare. So, I mean, this is the first real look at this group in a competition that's meaningful to us. How would you feel about that from a coaching perspective? That they're not really had a training camp per se or training matches to prepare. Just talk me through that sort of having your hands tied a little bit and using this type of platform to be able to prepare with the expectation that we have.
I think that would be a worry problem in the coach's mind that he hasn't had a meaningful game to see what the players can do. He's heavily relying on assistant coaches to help him out, and technical director to help him out in this sense. The players that have performed at this level. So yeah, it will be a nervous period for the coach because he's probably in the area of what you don't know what to expect. You can see it in training, but sometimes, as a coach, when your team's firing and ready to go, ready for that whistle, and then there's times where you feel, I don't know what I'm going to get for them. And he may be hoping that you get this, but it's at the end of the day, we all want Bermuda to win. So I hope they can pull off a result by any means necessary today, so they can do it.
Yeah. And talk us through that national pride the coaches would try to instill in the players before games like this. When you're playing at home, how important it is to make sure that they do show up and show out for people here in Bermuda.
Oh yeah, that's very important. And sometimes it has a negative factor on the players, because of the way the crowd is. I always found that it was easier for us to play away from home than playing in Bermuda.
Yes.
Because the players want to do well. And the minute they do something wrong, it's like, oh, here we go again type of thing.
It'll be your uncle that's the one that's that. It'll be your uncle or your cousin that's seeing
and me as a coach, I heard Nacio something. You know exactly.
Yeah. You identify the voice.
But,
that's hard.
And just going back onto your point you're saying about the preparation. So the way I was able to operate was I had a 6-week period. So I get the guys in training 6 weeks prior to every window. Because the pitfalls that come. Without us having meaningful games, that's what happens at the international level. You hardly get those meaningful games. So you have to have touch time with the players. And we were able to, work that system like that, and it worked for us for a little bit. And then, for me, for Bermuda, it's always about forward thinking. We have to be forward thinking in everything that we do. If we want to get to the next level, we have to support the coaches at all levels. Can't get away with mediocre standards. That means off the field, first and foremost. I'm talking off the field.
Right.
So the standards have to be high off the field to push the standards higher on the field. So little things like just knowing what you're able to do and not able to do. So don't have the coach thinking that he's going to have a match to prepare his team prior to the game, and then you don't have it. Have that 6 months in advance clear. We got a game here. So that's forward thinking. That's the next level for Bermuda. And one of the big problems in this region is, so if we wanted a better team, per se, to play against, say, i.e. Jamaica, as a practice match, it's out of our league to play Jamaica. Just because they made the World Cup, they're asking for a fee. That's just the way they operate nowadays. So to get a Jamaica is difficult for Bermuda. To get a team that's ranked above us is difficult. You can get teams to play, but they're going to be a lesser opposition. And then you're going to say, well, is that really what we need? So it's a fine balance, and that's the next step for the association to get to figure it out. Not just for the senior team, but for all the teams.
And Carl, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to ask this question. I want to ask you in terms of, every time I heard we're being taken serious in the Caribbean again. So if you were to say to us, what would you put us in? Because when I always looking at the map and I'm looking at the Mexico, Canada, United States, and then I go to Central America, Costa Rica, and I go down to El Salvador. Where would you say we are? Because you did say something about we're already seeing it, as with the team we're going to play tonight, French Guiana. Where would you put us? Where would most teams say, we can beat Barbados, or can we beat St. Kitts? What would you? Yeah.
I would say
What would you
we
put
are
us?
a good competitive B team. League A, League B, League C. So if you categorize like that, right now I think we're a good B team. We can compete well. When we get in A, we have to be at our best in every match. I think we can get away with it, not being at our best and beat another B team. But we can't play an A team and be below par and get a result. If you understand, that's probably the best way to put it. So when you look at when we were in A, our best results were away from her. You know, with beating Panama and losing narrowly to Mexico. But when they were in Bermuda, they beat us comfortably. Maybe because we was too aggressive. You know, at home. Whereas when we were away, we sat back a little bit and hurt them. But at home, you know, I always think back to that game against Panama, and the goal that hurts me the most is the last one that Panama scored, because we were huddling up saying, well, let's not concede another goal. We got a corner, and I turn around and Dale's up the field, and I'm like, get back! But they broke and scored, and that's the goal to me that stopped us from to league staying in League A. You know, because remember we finished on the same amount of points as Panama, so we both had 3 points each. So they beat us, we beat them, and Mexico beat both of us. So that was the difference in the end. It came down to one goal, and that's the goal. You know?
For my final question, the stadium is not easy to play at. And I'm not even talking about the fans. I'm talking about the conditions. It feels fast. Now we have, as you can feel, a breeze. Get yours first and defend afterwards, or defend first and get yours after.
A day like today, I wouldn't want to go against the breeze because it's not a swirl. You know, if the clouds were whirling in and out, I would say go lift the breeze the first half and take it, because you know you can switch.
Right.
Which happened when we played against El Salvador.
Yes.
You remember that
Yes,
game?
very much so.
And that was in our thing, because us learning conditions, and it's volatile conditions. It can be going with first half and then going with second half. It worked in our favor.
Right.
You know, you see many games like that upward, so we have to use these conditions as well. And it's down to flip a coin to use these conditions.
Right.
Carl, I want to ask you one last. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I want to ask you one last question. Carl, what's the importance of this result?
Not to lose. That's to me, not to lose. For the new regime to show that, you know, the mean business for her to get the results that they're looking for. I think that will be the number one today. I think we got some good players in there that can perform, that can score goals, and it's just for us. At every opportunity, can we keep them out of the back of our net? That's always going to be an issue for Bermuda when we get to certain levels.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Lightburn. I'd say go take your seat, watch the boys finish, put the final touches on the warm-up, and then enjoy some of your success, because basically
A little easier, but it's all right, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's a little easier since
I don't have to.
you don't look, smacking at face.
Mind
All of those things, huh? You look just smiling and everything.
For coaches, the game starts 2 days before.
Yeah, I get it.
And I can tell you, the fans take the defeat, but the coaching staff take it even harder. But sometimes we don't have to share it. We have to go into the next game.
Right.
You know, we have to go into the next game. We have to think about the players.
Yeah.
How do we pull them back up? How do we? So yes, you know, coaches care just as much as the supporters.
Yeah. Basically, when the final whistle goes tonight, all attention is get ready to leave tomorrow morning, because they got to go down for another match on Tuesday.
And you have to get their mindset right and ready to go. And
Yeah.
I appreciate the opportunity to have a chat.
Sure, buddy.
You know, it's a long road for Bermuda to go, but we can get there.
Yeah,
We can get
definitely.
there again.
Definitely.
Just have to believe and everybody pull together.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lightburn.
Well, guys, we've heard from the former coach, Kyle Lightburn. more relaxed. Now he
More
could
relaxed.
spend more time on the golf course. All right, buddy. Yes. Just listening to some of the things he's been able to share from inside the changing room aspect at the national level. Coach Keith, I'm glad you're back because in 2 weeks' time, you're going to be in that position of Coach Finley and his coaching staff in that locker room trying to prepare our team to face their First Nations League game as well. How has preparations for that game been going for you and your team? Well, first of all, actually, I really want to say to Brother Vance Brown, we wish you all the best, man. Get yourself back. We want to see you back.
Yes,
I know the girls want to see you back too.
Preparation. Again, we use all the games as our preparation to see a few things, and I think that for the first time, speaking with Manny today, he's asking me different needs to see. Obviously, we have little pieces. We have college girls, but these guys have club guys. So, our situation is a little different where I already know I have 3 top dogs that can play the first one, but I can't take them to St. Vincent. So it's managing those little pieces and knowing where to plug in and who to plug into those hurdles. And I was telling Manny today for the first time ever, I feel this confident going into a match against Dominican. We played them 3 or 4 times. They've scored at the senior level. They've only scored 1 goal against us. And it came from a frustration later on, which is frustrated at us not having enough attack and went on and caused a penalty. And, and that happens, right? But the players are in a really great space. I wasn't well these last couple of days, and they were just like seriously not training, but I had to take time out to heal. So, our preparation, because we had that Nations League, because we were able to see different players in different positions that made the position even stronger. Players are fighting for positions now. There's an entitlement. So the work is hard. Every girl is in the gym. Every player, because I require them to send me gym workouts either from themselves or from their personal trainer. So that's a first for us. So every single last player is actually working out in the gym in their off days. And training numbers are amazing because everyone knows that they are trying to make this team because they see what's in front of us. So for the first time ever, preparation has been absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Just looking at this team, what obviously we know Dale's been playing. We know several players have been playing. We know several players haven't been playing. Expectations from the ones that have not been playing. What are you looking for out of those players, time-wise, managing their time? Because as you know, if you haven't been playing, this field would sort you out really, really quick. And we saw that the last game that Dante Lebrock played, they literally had to take him off because he hadn't been playing, and the pace of the game showed that he was not ready for that part.
I would hope that the ones that haven't been playing have been at least training in some capacity. And if it's outside of here, even playing matches, playing and training, will give them something. I would hope that the coach will know how to manage those players, and it's time to have another game in 5 days, 4 days. So, this isn't a one stop. So again, we need to start fast and start hard and get ahead of this one, so that the coach can rest if he needs to rest some of those players. I did see looks like the starting team warming up, and it looks pretty exciting. So
do we have that?
It's still that CONCACAF have yet to release it yet.
That'll be interesting talking piece just to understand the starting side. That'll tell us what we're attempting to do.
Mm-hmm.
And where we're at with it.
Well, we were hoping that the president was going to join us, but he's yet to arrive. He was here earlier, working out. When I say working out, helping to prepare the stadium for the fans and for the players. But for those who are watching this, the game will be live on CONCACAF.com. Go on YouTube, and you can type in Bermuda versus French Guiana. and you'll get CONCACAF link for the game that goes live at 5 p.m. our time in a matter of 24 minutes. So when we look at it, Maceo, you've seen some of these young people grow, and you've had some helping them to grow in football. What would you like to see out of those some of those that you've actually had a hand in helping them to prepare for football life?
Yeah, none of them like I do. This just for transparency, a large portion of this group would have came through my coaching, or also came through the time that I was involved in football, watching them grow from 5 years old to to what they are now. So if you're speaking of Remy Collington, if you're speaking of Najai Tucker, my boy son and Deniche Hill, those players. Uh, I know their ambition for football. You can see where they are. You can see what they've done. You can see what their families are invested in. So you know they're very, very ambitious as it relates to football. Jai Bean, you see what he's doing at his school. So there is a level of ambition that those kids and those players have. If I flip it over from the coaching, it's like, how do we let that fly and protect it? How do the senior players garnish their way around that and help those players to come through and shine? Now, we saw last time that we was in Bermuda, we saw Sincere Hall. Now, he's got her with this group. That's a missing player that I also would have liked to see in this group.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know the dynamics if he was available or not available, but these players are match winners. Like, they have ambition to do good things. What's going to be in these players' mind? They're going to be aware. They're going to be aware of the potential to launch their international careers from this platform.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to also be aware of. They're going to be aware of. Okay, we're going to go to World Cup qualifiers.
Mm-hmm.
That this is a big deal to satisfy some of those dreams that I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
My thing. Are we going to match them and manage them? That's the balance. Can we match what their ambitions are? Also, can they humble themselves that this is not Burnley, this is not West Ham, this is not. We're not in that space.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a different space in our journey in football. So can they bring a bit of humbleness to them? Can they continue to show the professionalism that they will be learning outside Bermuda?
Mm.
So there's a whole lot of things going through their minds, but that definitely could be our match winners. And I just want to see now how we manage these, how we manage them, who do we start, where do we go with, how do we manage this group of players, because it is exciting.
Yeah,
it is exciting for this group of players to all be there. And Keita made a good point, is that this is not just about Nicky Wells now. We got 6-7 players that have been in good scenarios and had good development in football that know stuff. So I mean, I'm had conversations with them. They know stuff.
right.
They're not going to be able to be fooled. They know stuff about football now.
Okay.
What to add into that, and what I find so interesting in a lot of these ones that are here, the desire to play for the national program.
Right.
A couple of weeks ago, I was watching. If you look at what's happening with Jamaica, Damari Gray and Leon Bailey, and also the center for the West Ham. So we're talking about these guys come and play. Decide, you know what? I'm going to go play for Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
So I just get the feeling that a lot of them really want to represent this country, especially the young ones. So it's a good feeling. It is a good feeling, which is good. That I heard. We go back sometime. I heard guys like, Bermuda's this. I don't want to pay for the national program, and I was like, that should be like paramount.
Yes,
that'll be top of your list, because I know that's how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we're starting a new era again, another new era, another new chapter for us, which is going to be exciting with women's football and men's football.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping it continues to, and what I am hoping that developments keeps going in the schools. At the club level, which Kyle alluded to about the standards, even in our games in the top Premier League here,
right?
The standards have got to, if you can come and play for the national program, your standard has got to be met.
Mm-hmm.
And if especially you're playing in Bermuda.
Right.
So there is a real excitement here, anticipation.
Mm-hmm.
But what to expect? But there's an excitement.
Oh, okay. Well, we've come to the end of our pregame show. We do have a post-game show where we'll be back live approximately at 7 p.m. Following the game, and then we'll have the live press conference with the coaches and players, and then we'll be able to close out the night. So giving you enough time to get to your seat, sit down, relax, enjoy. When the game's over, we head back and we'll be back live. Okay, folks. Good luck to Bermuda tonight.
Yes.
We'll be back after the match.
Yeah, you can't go now, Earl?
Okay.